Hello there everybody and welcome back to Try New Things. My name is Chris and today we're going to do another product review. This time it's a concrete saw, specifically the Evolution 10-inch concrete saw. So initially I was on the hunt for a masonry type saw to cut some stones, to make some capstones to finish off the stone flower bed surround that I started out front this spring and still haven't finished. During the landscaping process, I've collected a lot of big rocks, and I thought if I had a saw, I could cut them to fit and make it look really nice. And that's still my intention, and I will make a full video on making the capstones for the stone wall. But in today's episode, I have another need. When they were pouring the slab for my pole barn, the concrete truck had a little bit left over in their load at the end of the last pour. And so they just dumped it in my yard. Not a big fan of that. And I managed to break it up a little bit with the tractor, but there's a couple pieces that are still too big to pick up. So today I'm going to try this saw out on the concrete, see if I can cut it up a little bit, help me break it up so that I can move it away from the barn. So let's get this package opened up. Let's see what we get when you order a 10-inch concrete saw from Evolution. One more thing, Evolution Power Tools. I had never heard of them before doing some research for the concrete saw, and it turns out they do have some good-looking tools on their website, and I'll probably check them out again when I start outfitting the workshop, the woodworking shop, as they've got some good table saws, etc. So inside the box, what we get is the 10-inch saw. Now, I did buy the blade separately, I do believe. So what I'm going to do right now is on the screen, I'm going to put up the price I paid for the 10-inch saw itself, plus the cost of the blade, and the website probably for Evolution Tools, so that if you're in the market for one, you'll know where to find it. Now, typically these saws are gas powered, and they're very expensive, and I wanted to find something that was a little bit more economically friendly. And I found this electric version. There are drawbacks to electric, of course. You got to have power where you want to use it. But there's no gas, no fumes. It'll start every time. There is no water function with this, so it's going to be very dusty. So I'm going to have to grab my mask when I use it outside. Other than that, I think I'm ready to put the blade on and put this thing to the test. So I'm going to set up the camera outside by the concrete. I'm going to get this geared up. I'm going to get my mask and my safety goggles, and we're going to give it a shot. So here we are out in the yard, and this is one of the pieces of concrete that I've got to move, but it's too big to lift with the tractor. Again, I think it's definitely going to be too thick to cut all the way through with the saw, even though the guard angles however you like it. With it being a 10-inch blade, I probably have 4.5 inches of cut depth maximum, and I would say this chunk is probably 8 inches thick in places. So my intention is to create a weak spot so that I can whack it with a backhoe and hopefully get it to snap where I'm cutting the lines. So I'm going to get started. What you don't want to do is go too deep too quick. According to the instructions, you make light passes and keep working it until you get to the depth you want. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I've got my safety glasses on. I'm going to put the dust mask on, and we're going to get started. Well, that's working incredibly well. I'm surprised there's no bog, there's no slowdown in the blade whatsoever. I'm letting the weight of the saw do the work, and it's cutting through pretty quick. as I expected. It didn't make it all the way through and didn't expect it to. This piece of concrete is probably a good 8 inches thick in some places. So now that I've got my cut pattern, I'm going to go get the backhoe. We're going to lift this up and see if it snaps along the cuts. So there you can see one of the cuts made with the Evolution 10-inch saw. It does go down about 3.5, 4 inches or so. I couldn't break it the first time around, so I flipped it over and tried to cut it in the same spot. You can see my line was a little off, but it still did the trick. Managed to break it apart into manageable size pieces. So now I'm going to haul these away and clean up the edge of my driveway. So once again, thanks for checking this video out and the review of the 10-inch Evolution concrete saw. My impressions are it's a very good unit, especially for the price. If you're in the market for an electric one, keep in mind that you're going to have power where you want to cut, and also it isn't a wet saw. Other than that, it worked fantastic, didn't bog down, didn't bind, kept on cutting. The unit does get a little warm with repeated use or continuous use, but that's to be expected. But that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here, folks. So thanks again for joining and watching this episode of Try New Things. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Definitely appreciate all the support. And until next time, bye-bye.